With Madison Police Chief Sean Barnes' departure just weeks away, we'll tell you who's been selected to fill his position for now as the city looks for a permanent replacement.
Plus, wildfires continue to spread on the West Coast. The help being sent by Wisconsin's Red Cross chapter.
Yeah, there's a shocking lack of snow on the ground for this time of the year, how this dry winter is impacting farmers.
And that's all coming up on News 3 now at 10. Good evening, everyone. I'm Sarah Carlson.
And I'm Eric Franke. Thanks for joining us tonight. Alert day conditions are our forecast for a very chilly morning tomorrow.
Yeah, we have wind chills reaching into the negative double digits. Is that right, Alex?
That's right. Over parts of southern Wisconsin, those wind chills are really starting to take a tumble. Other parts of southern Wisconsin, including the Madison area, we've actually had just a bit of a tapering to those wind chills going down because we briefly have some clouds over the area. That's going to change overnight tonight. We're still tracking alert day conditions for Tuesday morning. This would be for all of southern Wisconsin, especially for areas north and east of Madison. There is a cold weather advisory. Remember, these bulletins, these headlines have changed. Doesn't matter if it's windy or not, cold weather is dangerous, and this is for areas north and east of Madison until 9 a.m. Tuesday morning for wind chills potentially as cold as minus 20 to 25 below zero. Right now, here's what I meant. Cloudy skies in Madison at 12. Winds are calm, so we actually had just a bit of a reprieve, but that will change overnight tonight as we expect those wind chills. As Sarah and Eric were just saying, we got single digits below zero. Camp Douglas up towards Marquette and Green Lake at -6 and -7 respectively. We're the warm spot right now. It feels like 12, and the actual air temperature is 12 in Madison. Follow the dots as we go through tomorrow. Notice the dots early in the morning, 8 o'clock, as we line it up on the left-hand side there. We're in that caution to danger category, and we work our way. The dots climb as we get into the afternoon towards 2 and 4 p.m. in the cold to cautionary area. So you're definitely going to want to bundle up no matter what time of the day it is tomorrow. But this cold weather is brief. By the end of the week, we're going to be pushing 40, and we got alert day conditions to talk about for early next week. I got a sneak peek of how cold those wind chills could be next week and a reason why we're seeing these continual bouts of polar air.
Okay, thank you, Alex. A student is hurt after being hit by a vehicle in Mazomanie. According to a statement from the district administrator there, the incident happened in the Wisconsin Heights school parking lot. There's no word on the condition of the student right now. School staff is providing support and resources to help everyone involved. Noodles & Company is coming together to support those impacted by the Abundant Life school shooting. From 4 to 8 p.m. Thursday, January 23rd, the company is hosting a community fundraiser at 5 of the Madison area locations. Those include Sun Prairie, East Side, Monona, Fitchburg, and West Side. 25% of all sales will be donated to ALCS to support healing efforts and future safety initiatives.
A Waterloo man receives life in prison after killing a Dane County woman in 2022. Jose Luis Gonzalez was sentenced for first-degree intentional homicide in the death of Dora Gonzalez Zarate. She was found dead from a gunshot wound on May 24th of 2022. A criminal complaint says Zarate and Gonzalez were in a romantic relationship that she was trying to end. Gonzalez will be eligible for parole in 2045. A driver is dead after a crash in the town of Rutland. The Dane County Sheriff's Office says the single vehicle crash happened around 11:30 Friday night. A 25-year-old driver was north on Union Road when he lost control of his vehicle. Deputies say it rolled over multiple times. The driver died at the scene. Their name has not yet been released.
Well, the Madison Police Department will have a new chief in February.
The city's Police and Fire Commission has now named an interim chief tonight. Our political reporter Will Keneally has more.
Assistant Police Chief John Patterson will lead the department until a permanent replacement can be named. Now, this comes at a key time for the department that is still investigating last month's deadly shooting at Abundant Life Christian School.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed say no. The motion carries.
A quick and unanimous vote tonight to put Assistant Chief John Patterson forward as the department's interim head, receiving the backing of outgoing Chief Sean Barnes and the other assistant chiefs.
Thank you all for your support and for your vote. And I look forward and humbled by this next chapter in my service. So thank you so much.
The Police and Fire Commission will be tasked with finding a permanent replacement for Barnes when he steps down in February. Barnes was picked to lead the Seattle Police Department back in December.
I look forward to joining you in person next month to learn more about the Seattle Police Department and our commitment to safety and service.
That announcement came just days after the shooting at Abundant Life Christian School on Madison's east side.
He won't be leaving us until February, and he will obviously transition everything that needs to be transitioned during the month of January. We have an incredibly professional team at the Madison Police Department, and I have a lot of faith in their ability to provide continuity to the investigation and do whatever needs to be done.
Now,
Will Keneally reporting. Well, as the wildfires in Los Angeles burn through thousands of acres, the firefighting efforts are on full display. Now, this comes as Wisconsin fire departments are reassessing their practices amid a lack of resources. According to the U.S. Fire Administration, 92.5% of Wisconsin fire departments are either entirely or mostly volunteer-based, meaning more and more agencies are relying on mutual aid practices for responding to fires. Iowa County Sheriff Mike Peterson says their local departments are now utilizing what they call auto aid. When a structure fire call comes in, it's all municipalities on deck.
It started off in the old days where we just have one fire department responding. But as we all know, there's a shortage of volunteers in our country. And some of our departments may be down to 12 members total, and they work outside of the community. With auto aid, we know that we have resources going.
Experts say Iowa County is not alone in its approach to emergency response. Even in the city of Madison, where we rely on career firefighters, mutual aid is becoming increasingly common.
The California wildfires continue as damages reach into the billions of dollars. Meantime, Wisconsin residents are among many headed to the West Coast to help out. The Wisconsin chapter of the American Red Cross is getting involved by sending crews out west to help with both aid and relief. They currently have 500 people sheltering in Pasadena under red flag warning. They'll be under that warning until noon on Wednesday.
For these folks that are already grieving and already, incredibly distraught, to think that it's not over yet. That event happens, and then folks are able to start working towards recovery. Unfortunately, that has not been the case in this situation because we are still at a point where we need to prepare to respond.
The Wisconsin Red Cross is collaborating with local organizations to better tailor shelter and relief strategies to the region. If you're interested in helping the California wildfire victims, there is a banner on our website that will take you straight to the Red Cross resource page. Just head to channel3000.com.
With winter now in full swing, UW Health is providing some tips on how to stay safe during the season. Doctors say it's important for children to dress for the season, of course. So that means making sure those layers are on with insulated boots, mittens, and hats. But medical experts add that children should not wear big, bulky clothing in a car seat so the harness has a proper fit. Norovirus continuing to spread across the U.S., but many people may not know that most household cleaners do not get rid of the virus. Doctors say it has to do with the virus's makeup. Its tough protein protective coat makes it harder for cleaners to penetrate. Medical experts say companies do make products that kill norovirus, but you have to check the labels to see if it's included. You can also make your own.
By mixing bleach with water, 3/4 of a cup of bleach per gallon of water. Now, if you don't want to use bleach, for example, on your countertops, you can try a disinfectant that contains hydrogen peroxide instead.
Norovirus can also survive temperatures up to 145 degrees. So if you're disinfecting carpet, experts recommend steam cleaning for 5 minutes at 175 degrees, and the same goes for laundry.
Inadequate sanitation at a Virginia food plant was largely to blame for last year's multi-state listeria outbreak. This is according to a report from the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The company Boar's Head started recalling products linked to listeria concerns back in July of 24 and closed the plant a few months later. According to the CDC, 10 people died from eating the tainted food, and dozens of others in 19 states got sick. Officials also say it's likely there were more illnesses that were never reported. Wisconsinites can be split, we know, on whether or not they prefer a snowy winter, and it turns out so can certain plants. Winter wheat helps to prevent soil erosion, while freezing and thawing can help expand and contract roots. Overwintering crops like alfalfa, hay, or winter wheat need a snow cover to prevent the frost from damaging the part of the plant that's vital for growth.
What's called the crown of the plant, that can maybe suffer some injury from heaving or just the physical forces of that freezing thawing action.
Farmers say the past 2 winters have been light on snow, forcing farmers to get creative with some of those overwintering crops. When we come back, Alex talks about the alert day weather conditions coming tomorrow morning.
And preparing for Inauguration Day, what officials are doing to make sure visitors are safe for the big occasion.
You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration is just a week away.
And a host of security agencies in D.C. are making plans to keep everyone safe. When Trump and Vice President-elect Vance take the oath of office in front of the Capitol, more than 30 miles of anti-scale fencing will be in place. Also, thousands of National Guard troops will be on duty to back up the Secret Service, which is in charge of this vast security operation.
The Secret Service will bring agents and other specialists from field offices across the country to provide a full slate of visible and invisible security measures.
Visitors who have questions about checkpoints and other security measures can get more information about that at inauguration.dc.gov. And country music star Carrie Underwood is expected to perform at the inauguration next Monday. According to a spokesperson from the inaugural committee, Underwood will sing America the Beautiful. Trump's inauguration to become the 47th president is Monday, January 20th at the U.S. Capitol.
Senate confirmation hearings for President-elect Trump's cabinet picks start tomorrow. And one of the first will be former Fox News host Pete Hegseth, Trump's controversial pick for Secretary of Defense. He could face questions by the Armed Services Committee about his workplace behavior and treatment of women. Now, he denies allegations of sexual assault. Other hearings this week will include South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem as Homeland Security Secretary, Senator Marco Rubio as Secretary of State, and Pam Bondi as Attorney General. The Kremlin said while there is political will for a meeting between Russian President Vladimir Putin and President-elect Trump, no substantive preparations have gotten underway yet for a summit. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said developments would be possible after the U.S. presidential transition. Just last month, Putin said he hasn't seen Trump for more than 4 years. In June of 2019, the pair met on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Osaka, Japan. And in 2018, Trump and Putin held a summit in Helsinki.
At least 24 people are dead and more than 12,000 structures have been destroyed by those wildfires across Los Angeles County. Firefighters overlooking the Palisades are now surveying that scarred landscape and preparing for the next major battle against the wildfires. Powerful Santa Ana winds are expected to kick up again, possibly triggering new fires and hampering recent progress in containing the blazes.
As the increasing wind event is upon us as we speak, the Los Angeles City Fire Department has maximized our resource capabilities and response capabilities.
More than 15,000 firefighters are now in place compared to fewer than 1,500 when the fires began. Meanwhile, new video shows an 8-acre blaze on New Year's Eve. It's in the same area where the Palisades fire exploded. Officials say they have not ruled out whether embers from that fire reignited.
The Southern California wildfires have left thousands of people in need, and officials are warning to be on the lookout for scams. The Department of Justice says scammers use such natural disasters to prey upon victims for money donations. Fraudsters will send out messages with urgent and persuasive language like, "We need your immediate support." A link will be provided with a name that looks legitimate, but it isn't. It's often a scam.
Scams come in many forms. They're often creative, confusing, persuasive. Some even create fraudulent organizations with names that sound eerily legitimate and are easy to fall for, like American Red Cross of California. Sounds good, sounds legitimate, sounds official. It's not.
If you do have concerns about a certain charity, the Federal Trade Commission suggests using sites like BBB Wise Giving Alliance or charitynavigator.org to verify a specific charity. And never, of course, give out your personal information to anyone you don't know.
Well, residents in one fire-devastated area of Los Angeles County are doing what they can to help both firefighters and their neighbors. This small group, known as the Heat Hawks, describes themselves as a blue-collar dude who just wants to help. Members are driving around the Topanga Canyon section of LA County looking for ways to support residents in need.
We just love this neighborhood, man. We couldn't just sit and not help.
We put out some spot fires, but most of us have been on turning off propane tanks in dangerous areas downwind of the fire, like propane ferries, we're calling them. Maybe you got a visit from the propane ferry.
That's great. The group also says residents have asked them to rescue their pets and also retrieve money and other documents. The nomination voting period for the 97th Oscars has been delayed again. This comes as those wildfires have been burning in LA for nearly a week now. The voting period was set to end tomorrow, but it will now run through Friday. Nominations will be announced January 23rd. The 97th Academy Awards will be held Sunday, March 2nd at the Dolby Theater.
Alert day conditions are in the forecast for tomorrow morning.
But a warm-up is on the way for the Madison region, believe it or not. Meteorologist Alex Harrington joins us now.
Yeah, we got that cold snap now. Wait till you see how warm those temperatures are going to be. By the time we get to the end of the week, this swing is going to be quite dramatic. As we look into Tuesday morning, though, this is where we're highlighting wind chills potentially as cold as 25 below zero, especially for areas north of Madison. We'll likely see the better chances for those wind chills getting down to 25 below zero. And that's where we have the cold weather advisory in effect until 9 a.m. Tuesday. That's for Juneau, Adams, Marquette, Green Lake, Sauk, Columbia, and Dodge counties. Areas north of Madison likely going to see the colder of those wind chills. Right now, we're kind of in a bit of a reprieve in Madison, 12 and 12. 12 is the actual air temperature with a calm wind. The wind chill is 12 here in Madison. That won't last for too much longer. We have single digits below zero wind chills to the north of Madison. Again, where I highlighted would likely be the coldest as we go into Tuesday morning, but we'll clear out later. The winds will ramp up again and all these wind chills will take a dip. This is what we'll be looking at by the time we wake up to Tuesday morning. Friday, we want the really warm stuff that's coming. We'll get to that in a second. 20 below zero in the Dells, 23 to the north, minus 23, I should say, in Camp Douglas. I'm nearly minus 25 to the north, and Marquette and Green Lake counties. Otherwise, teens below zero across the rest of southern Wisconsin. We improve by the time we get to Wednesday morning with wind chills in the single digits below zero. That's not on the cusp of that dangerously cold stuff, but certainly cold enough. Actual readings tomorrow, and the thermometers will be in the teens with sunny skies, and I call this the deceptive sunshine. This is where you look out the window and it's like, it looks really pretty out there, but then you actually are dealing with wind chills that are like this as we move through the dots here. Wind chills minus 10 to minus 20. That's in the range of caution to danger, so you really need to bundle up. We were saying earlier, limit your activities outdoors and take breaks if you do have to be outdoors by coming back inside, warming up a bit. And then as we move through the afternoon, we go into the cold to caution category. As we move through the rest of the week here, we're 40 by the end of the week. Can you believe that? Swinging all the way to 40. And alert day conditions by next Monday morning, we could have wind chills to minus 25 to minus 30 degrees below zero. So that's just a sneak peek for the next set of alert days here as we move from that warm period Friday. Polar front comes through on Saturday and Sunday, and then we get the really cold stuff Monday going on into Tuesday. Why is this happening? I said I'd quickly mention this. Well, as we go out into the future here, and actually this is going on now, Alaska, our jet stream bulges in the northern Pacific that pushes very warm air, at least warmer than normal temperatures for Alaska right now. What does that do to the cold air that's over the Arctic regions, normally over Alaska? It makes it dip down into the United States, and that's the reason why we're having those cold temperatures, because it's warm over the Arctic regions that's displacing the cold air and sending it south into the United States.
And still to come in sports, Kamari McGee's attitude is contagious. How the senior leader has energized Wisconsin men's basketball, next on News 3 Now. As painstaking as yesterday's playoff exit was for the Packers, and it was painstaking, they had no time to sit around and sulk. They left Philly and came straight back to Lambeau to clear out their lockers and say their goodbyes. It was understandably a somber room filled with opinions on what went wrong, but one stood out from the rest. Tucker Kraft said that the way the team closed out the season, he could feel yesterday's loss brewing, adding that this team next year needs to wake up.
Everyone talks about how we're just not okay with just making the playoffs, but we have yet to, walk the walk. So going forward, I'm gonna embrace everything that I've put into this game, and then take on a little bit more of a leadership role, and try to get people on the same wavelength that I'm on.
After winning 5 straight, Wisconsin men's basketball was rewarded today, returning into the AP Top 25, slotted at 24. One big reason for all the success, Kamari McGee, the senior Racine native, is shooting nearly 60% from three-point range this year, but that's just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to his impact. It's everything else that he does, namely the unmatched energy that he brings, that has really put some wind in this team's sails.
Really, from Kamari's standpoint, it's genuine, it's organic. That's how he is every day. He's obviously positive and bubbly and smiling, but he also has a serious side to him too, where he can get after guys.
It's super contagious, and I think he might be. He's obviously one of the highest energy guys on the team, if not the most energy. So it's always good to have him around in the locker room and just helping us be the best version of us.
But you don't just have to take their word for it. Kamari just so happens to be this week's guest on the Wisconsin Huddle. Get to know the Racine native this Friday right here on News 3 Now. High school girls hoops, second-ranked Crusaders hosting the 11-1 Chiefs, and the Dells, they hung into this one for a while. Early on, and Natalie Field sends the shot back and turns it into transition offense, finding Ashia Hopkins, who finishes off glass. But ultimately, Anna Miller and Edgewood were just too much. She jukes him out the shoes with the mid-range magic and connects. Edgewood ran away with this one in the second half, winning big, 74-45. We'll be right back.
A group of wounded veterans takes a trip to Key West for special therapy. This group of 40 participants got to spend time interacting with bottlenose dolphins.
The marine mammals perform behaviors including shaking flippers, dolphin kisses, and dorsal pulls. The half day of dolphin therapy ended the Wounded Warrior Project's annual Florida Keys Soldier Ride. Soldier Ride raises public awareness for support and for the needs of severely injured members of the military. Very deserving to have a little time down there in the warm weather. We are far from it right now.
No kidding.
Total opposite. Alert day conditions still tracking for tomorrow morning. Bitterly cold wind chills for southern Wisconsin. Could get as cold as -20 to 25 below zero wind chills, especially during the early morning hours through at least 9 a.m. and especially for areas north of Madison. This is not the only cold snap the First Run weather team is tracking. After 40, people will be probably in shorts by the end of the week. We have temperatures that could actually approach by the time we get out to next Monday and Tuesday. We could have 30 below zero wind chills by next Monday and Tuesday morning. So get ready for the roller coaster ride to continue.
So
bundle up.
If you get the shorts out on Friday, you'll be putting them away by Tuesday.
Some will. Thanks so much.
Did you want to mention the Viking score at all?
Yeah, they lost by a lot.
Have a good night, everybody.